you hear me? Hello. Hello, right? Right, right. Hello, are you hear me? Assalamu alaikum once again. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And today we are going to learn about the thyroid disorders. Before going to the topic, we must recall the knowledge regarding the thyroid gland. The thyroid is an endocrine gland which controls all the metabolic activities of the body. It has a butterfly shape, so it's a very beautiful to look. It's located in the anterior triangle of the neck in front of the C5, C6, C7, T1 vertebra. Having two lobes out most often, it may be a third lobe which is known as pyramidal lobe. And the both lobes, right and left lobes, connected through the isthmus, which is connected to the second, third, and fourth tracheal vein. The pyramidal lobe arises from the isthmus and go upward, having a weight of 20 to 25 grams. Those smaller in size is control almost all body activities. It's a highly vascular organ supplied by the branches of the external thyroid artery, which is the superior thyroid artery, which go upward and supply the upper pole of the thyroid, and inferior thyroid artery, which is a branch of the thyrocervical trunk. And sometimes you may find thyroid artery, which is very rare, is arises from the brachiocephalic trunk. And there is minimum Rahi tracheoesophageal branches also supplies that. So the surgical point of view, you see the relation of the superior thyroid artery. Superior thyroid artery, it runs parallel with the external laryngeal nerve. So when you ligate the pole at the time of the surgery, you have to ligate the upper pole, so very near to the lobe. So it can damage, it can prevent the damage of the external laryngeal nerve. If you go far away from the upper lobe, you can take external laryngeal nerve, and this can damage the external laryngeal nerve, which is responsible for the pitch of the volume. The same is here at the inferior pole. Inferior thyroid runs parallel to recurrent laryngeal nerve. So we have to tie the recurrent laryngeal nerve away from the inferior pole to avoid the damage. The thyroid is also has a very copious network of the venous supply. As they are in the upper pole, they run parallel to the arteries, like superior middle thyroid vein. They enter internal jugular veins. But inferior thyroid vein is go and drain into the brachiocephalic trunk. Same, there is a network of the lymphatics, which also drain the thyroid gland. Lymphatic from the tracheoesophageal, perilaryngeal, and mediastinal lymph nodes, they are also known as the primary one, and the secondary. And secondly, the deep cervical supraclavicular occipital nodes. They are the secondary nodes which drains the thyroid. The thyroid has got secretory cells. Most common the two types: follicular cells, which secretes the T3 and T4, which is known as thyroid hormones, and parafollicular cells, which is known as which secrete the calcitonin, also known as the C cells. So these type of the cells, which are very much important when we talk about the carcinomas, follicular or the medullary carcinomas. We must understand the pathophysiology and the metabolism of the iodine. 90% of the regulated by the thyroid gland, the iodine metabolism, is regulated by the TSH, the thyroid stimulating hormone, which is secreted from the from the anterior pituitary glands. So thyroid stimulating hormone, which is regulate the whole the thyroid hormone mechanisms. So we have to control this phenomena, and we have to understand how this iodination is formed, how T3, T4 is formed. As you know, inside the follicles, the thyroglobulin formations occur, which trap the iodide from the blood, and the peroxidase enzymes are there, which can oxidize. Hello, are you hear me? Voice is clear? And then this oxidation, after oxidation, iodide is converted to iodine. There's a bound with the tyrosine to make a monoiodotyrosine. The two units of the monoiodotyrosine forms the diiodotyrosine, and after that, diiodotyrosine combine again with the diiodotyrosine to form the T4. So T3 and T4, again they releases, they bound in the plasma with albumin and globulin, which is released or synthesized from the liver. So only small amount of these T3 and T4 hormones present in the blood, which is actually physiologically active. And T3, again, it is converted from T4 in the periphery. And T4 is converted into T3, which is physiologically active, quick, and mostly in emergency situation. In the cases of the thyroid failure, we infuse the patient's T3. This is about the iodine metabolism. First, the thyroglobulin formation, follow the trapping of iodide from the blood. They can oxidized by the peroxidase enzymes. Then there is a binding, and they release in the blood to the free portion is activated. So these are the 4 steps of iodine metabolisms. I think you may understand. Now, now there is a series of the lectures of the thyroid disorder. First, we have to start hypothyroidism. Right?
चेट सर मोर में वञो
मोर में
चेट जो पहिरियों ऑप्शन
इहो
इहो चो
Hello. Now we are coming towards the topic, hypothyroidism. The hypothyroidism is a clinical syndrome resulting from the deficiency of the thyroid hormone. As you know, the thyroid gland is responsible for all the metabolism of the body. So if the thyroid is not functioning properly, what happens? The body's generalized slowdowning metabolic process is going on. So when the body's metabolism becomes slowed down, what happens? You see over here, before going to the topic, how this mechanism becomes slowed down, there are three stages where thyroid hormone can work. One is hypothalamus. From here, thyroid releasing hormone which stimulated the pituitary gland, mostly anterior pituitary gland. From here, thyroid stimulation, they can stimulate the secretory cell, follicular cells of the thyroid gland, which releases the T3 and T4. T3 and T4 mostly bound with the albumin and globulin in the blood, but few remains the freer. This is active physiological active and can again negative feedback mechanism. Once the T3, T4 level is sufficient, it can inhibit TSH. When they become deficient, it can activate TSH, and TSH again stimulate the thyroid gland. So this phenomena is more important to understand the thyroid glands. You see interpretation of thyroid function test. If the TSH high, as I already mentioned, TSH is high. That means there is a need of the T3, T4 need to the body is a decrease. That's why TSH want to compensate that need, and that means the problem is at the thyroid tissue. TSH releases from the anterior pituitary. It can stimulate the follicular cells, and they can release T3 and T4. If the normal TSH level, that's known as euthyroid, means the thyroid function is normal. T3, T4 is regulating mechanism is in its normal position. If the TSH low, that means the thyroid is functioning more. That means if the TSH is low, that means the two mechanism. Either the thyroid is functioning more, either there is hypothalamus disorders, which is known as if the pituitary or hypothalamus hypothyroidism, severe non-thyroid illness may occur. So if TSH is high, that means T3, T4 need in the body is more and thyroid is not responding properly. If the normal, that means the euthyroid. If it TSH is low, that means either from the thyroid releasing hormone from the hypothalamus is not coming, either there is increased T3, T4 level which can inhibit the TSH level. So in hyperfunctioning of the thyroid or in the diseases in the hypothalamus level, they can reduce the weight. By this mechanism, you can understand the primary thyroid failure means a disease within the thyroid. Thyroid cells are not responding to the TSH. If the TSH is deficient, that means a secondary pituitary anterior pituitary is not functioning. If the tertiary level, that means hypothalamic deficiency, thyroid releasing hormone is not released, it's not stimulating the TSH, and TSH is not going to release the T3 and T4. The major causes of the hypothyroidism can be divided into primary and secondary and the tertiary. In the primary, when the disease, when the inflammation is in the thyroid glands. So as you know, autoimmune thyroiditis, iatrogenic means after surgery, radioactive iodine therapy, iodine deficiency in endemic areas, the drugs, anti-thyroid drugs, the patient who remain on anti-thyroid drugs, or other drugs like that. And these are all the inflammatory thyroiditis which can lead to the failure of the thyroid gland. The congenital agenesis, dysgenesis, defect in hormone, the peroxidase, as you know, the trapping mechanism, oxygenation mechanism, binding, any mechanism can be deficient, can lead to the hypothyroidism. The secondary is a disease in the pituitary. Any problem in the pituitary, anterior pituitary glands can lead to the thyroid. And tertiary, when the problem is in the hypothalamus. The clinical manifestation, as you all know, the most common clinical manifestation in hypothyroidism is mostly delayed in the function because this metabolic phenomena of the body in mostly in the skeletal muscle, in the heart muscles, in the GIT muscles, smooth muscles, they can reduce it. They can slow down. So skin become cool, pain, decrease with blood flow. Why this happens? But there is accumulation of the glycosamine, accumulation of glycosamine glycans, mostly hyaluronic acid. What happens when they becomes accumulated, the capillary permeability increases and albumin shifted to the interstitial space. When the albumin shifted in the interstitial space, it can suck the water and this leads to the edema and thickness. So the skin becomes pale because of low blood supply and it becomes thick also. Dry roughness, decreased sweetness, generalized non-fatiguing edema is known as mixed edema. The major symptoms and signs, slowing of metabolic process. This leads to fatigue, weakness, cold intolerance, dyspnea and exertion, weight gain. And all these can lead to decrease due to the decrease metabolic activities in the absence of the thyroid hormones deficiency. Then accumulation of matrix and glycose. You know the accumulation of the glycose aminoglycans. They can mix the edema, so the skin becomes porous, puffy face, loss of hairs, enlargement of the tongue, macroglycia, and these is other all the signs of the depression and the pains, distorted activities, and these are the clinical features of the hypothyroidism, mostly in the response, poor response of the thyroid hormones to TSH. Eye signs, they are already in the chart, periorbital edema, manifestation, generalized non-thing edema, cardiovascular system, the conductivity is reduced, so it can lead to reduced cardiac output, QRX complex become low, depressed, T wave and T wave interval increases. X-ray shows cardiomegaly, and you may find hypertension, but in the you may find aggressive in the maximum coma, hypotension too. Respiratory system against due to the exhaustion, the fatigue, shortness of breath and exertion, hypoventilation, even apnea. Gastrointestinal system due to the reducing the motility, peristaltic movement, your patient may present constipation, decreased taste sensation, and losses of being gain the weight and gastric atrophy. Renal system, as you mentioned, the decreased glomerular filtration rate, impaired ability to excrete water load, drug clearance is decreased. These all are the mechanisms because of the fluid is shifted in third space, interstitial space. So your patient may present with edema. The product abnormalities, decreased fertility, increased likelihood of early abortions, hyperprolactinemia, so the patient may present galactorrhea like that. A woman with hypothyroidism may have either oligo or amenorrhea or amenorrhea menstrual problems is there due to the inefficient effect. As you know that the uterus and all the things they contain the beta receptors, smooth muscles. So in the absence of the thyroid hormones, these metabolic activities are stored. Neurological deficiency, general depression, sleepiness, inability to concentrate, and dull babies especially they present to you. Neuromuscular carpal tunnel, so again the edema which suppresses the nerves, and the patient present carpal tunnels in the median nerves, muscle cramps, muscle weakness. These are the common signs. The chart shows, you see over here, 90%, 99% of the patients complain of the weaknesses. Then the skin changes, dry and coarse, lethargy. These are the dominant symptoms we present in your patients in cases of the hypothermia, severe hypothermia. Yeah, again, it's a review. If you see the serum T4, TSH level, if they are the normal, we say the euthyroid. Our thyroid function is normal. So no disruption in T4, even T3 and TSH, F are free. If you see the TSH is high and T4 is low, that means your patient suffering primary hypothyroidism. TSH increases to stimulate the thyroid, but thyroid is not able to produce the thyroid hormone. If TSH normal or low, that means a hypothalamus is not functioning. So secondary hypothyroidism, the problem is within the pituitary gland. So here you can do the test, thyroid releasing hormone test. It can stimulate its function as from the hypothalamus. If by this the thyroid must increases, that means the problem is excessive response. Problem is within the thyroid gland. If normal response, that means that the hypothalamus is not releasing this hormone. That's why we injected and the patient will respond well. If no response, that means the lesion is at the pituitary. Thyroid releasing hormone test indicate excessive response, that means primary hypothyroidism. If normal response, that means hypothalamic lesion. If no response, it means pituitary lesion. Repeat, if normal T3, T4 and TSH known as euthyroid, normal thyroid function. If TSH increase, T3, T4 is decreases, that means a problem at the thyroid tissues is known as primary hypothyroidism. If TSH normal or low, that means secondary hypothyroidism, either due to the hypothalamic pituitary lesion. So you have to go for further tests to exclude either releasing hormone deficiency or any lesion in the pituitary. So TRH, thyroid releasing hormone test. If your patient shows excess response, means increase in the T3 and T4, that means the lesion was at the primary site in the thyroid gland. If it is not responding, that means the pituitary lesion is there. And if they respond properly, normal, they response hypothalamic lesion. This is one of the conditions which can 96% cases can lead to the hypothermia. Chronic lymphocytic thyroiditis, which is known as Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Most common cause of hypothyroidism, 96% patients may be present with goiter, maybe swelling of the gland, or maybe in few cases, in 20% cases with non-goitogenous, high titer of autoantibodies in thyroid gland. This is a diagnostic test. How to treat the cases of the hypothyroidism? Before going to treat, some terminology used: cretinism, the fetal or infantile hypothyroidism. Mostly here you find that either the mother during the pregnancy, they remain on antithyroid drugs, so their babies can go in the hypothyroidism or thyroid failure. And second, hormone agenesis. Peroxidase enzymes are not present. The babies may born with a hypothyroidism, which is known as creatinism. The cretinism it may be a sporadic error in thyroid metabolism, and it may be responding in the response of the if the mother is treated by radioactive iodine ablation during the pregnancy, and these patients, infants are the fetal hypothyroidism. Another term which is known as myxedium is a severe thyroid failure. It's known as severe thyroid failure. TSH is significantly high, more than 20 micro units per liter. In these patients, the patient may goes in the coma characterized by hypothermia, hypotension, hyponatremia, bradycardia, hypoglycemia, neurological deficiencies, all the signs, excessive anasarca, generalized edema. These patients can present in such type of the presentation, which is known as myxedocoma. How to treat the hypothyroidism? A simple hypothyroidism is due to the failure of the thyroid to produce thyroid hormone. So you have to replace the thyroid hormones in the form of T3 or the T4. As we mentioned, the T3 is most active form but has a shorter half-life. So we prefer the patients for the hypothyroidism T4 thyroxine. Thyroxine having half-life is about 7 days, and 1 OD, it can be well absorbed, easily monitored by following serum TSH and T4 levels. Replacing dose of the thyroxine inhalers ranges 0.05 to 0.2. It varies from patient's age and body. 1.5 microgram per kg per day. You can start it from the lower dose, and then she should be increasing about 25% during pregnancy. And drugs potentially alerting thyroid hormones replacement, and this is actually beyond your requirement. And thanks. That's all about. Any question, please? Right? Question करो।
सर मुझे उससे वीडियो बंद करें।
Noreen, please close your video.
ये YouTube पे आएगी खामखा, फिर आपको इशू होगा।
Noreen.